Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K. And as you can see, I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Burner. Donovan, I will say this. I go through my comments, regularly, and they're like, where's Donovan? I don't see Donovan no more. Is he not on the show no more? Where is he at? And I'm like, what am I, chopped liver? No, I'm just playing. And I'm like, no, he's, Sunday and Monday or whatever. So maybe they just don't catch the show. But Sunday and Monday, Donovan has he got a key to the show. He don't need no invitation. Donovan, he got things going on, right? He can't, Anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, hello to my moderators. You are wonderful for everything that you do and holding down the comment section. Would not and could not do this without you. Today, we're going to be talking about a Black mogul, Pharrell Williams, coming under fire for saying politics causes too much division amongst the people. So I'm going to show y'all a clip and get into some of the things that people said about him. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's how people feel. But Donovan has not seen, yes, fair use and all that. Donovan has not seen the clip because I want to get his, first reaction to it or all of that. And I also want to get you guys' first reaction. Of course, I'll fill it out a little bit more as to where he was and things like that. But in the meantime, let's see what we got here. Sister Shirley, one who cares. How you doing? Thank you for everything. Troy, what's going on with you? Easy E in the building. Thank you. Arneva, thank you as well. Elle, how are you doing? Hope you're having a great day. Sagittarius Goddess. So Donovan, how is you be doing today?
How I be doing? I'm doing fine. When you guys don't see me on the show, it's just like we were in high school. Demetra kicked me out of the Black Students Association because, I was in there acting a fool and doing what I got to do. No, but, I got things going on in it of myself. So, but thank you guys for cheering for me and making sure that old meanie over here doesn't run me off the show and stuff like that. I appreciate it. But hey, welcome to the show. It is 3:00 on a Monday. It is the Demetra K show. Welcome everybody, and our co-hosts again, those people: King Noble, 1970 Sunlight, Kimberly Owens. Welcome to the show. Do us a favor. We got a scrolling banner at the bottom if you guys want to donate to have these great conversations. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash Money, or however you guys want to do it. Also, do not forget the African Diaspora News Channel app, where you will get great videos from Demetra K, Vicki Dillard, Phil Scott, and a host of other great I don't know what's wrong with my tongue. Contributors to that platform. A lot of things going on in the African diaspora. How many of you guys know the biggest U.S. aircraft carrier has made its way into the Caribbean, and it is off the coast, or not off the coast, but it's fairly close to Venezuela. So they will be conducting war games off of there. And why should we be concerned? Venezuela's not in the African diaspora. Well, you got Haiti nearby, you got Dominica nearby, you got Puerto Rico nearby, you have Jamaica nearby. So it is very important that we understand what is going on there. Are we provoking these people, or are we in another operation? Time will tell. But one way that you guys can stay on top and abreast of that is the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. Also, if you guys want to become a member, download the app, do your thing, become a member, and Black owned. Just remember that it is Black owned. So whenever somebody says, when are we going to get our own Black owned app? Yeah, we have it. It's called the African Diaspora News Channel app. And also, there is original content on there. So the things that you guys see in your algorithm on YouTube, you're not going to see specific videos that is specific to the app. So again, Emancipation Channel, that's within the app, and has a whole bunch of programming within there. And as a matter of fact, African Diaspora News Channel app is going through an upgrade as we speak. And who knows what's going to come with that upgrade. So again, if you guys are interested, it'd be a great Christmas gift, great graduation gift. It's a great gift in general. African Diaspora News Channel app, get it on Google Play, Apple Store.
Najiki Win, I think I said it right this time. Thank you so much for that donation. It's a hell of a donation right off the bat. So thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Everything helps, goes to the production of the show and everything. So thank you. And let's see, Kevin, how you doing? Daniel, what's going on with you? True Warrior, he says, translation, I'm a coward. Ooh. Albie Chill, how you doing? All right, so let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So, I'm always looking for content because that's what I do, right? I have a lot of stories I have to talk about, and I actually saw this a few times today. I was like, okay, it sounds like that's what we're going to talk about. I think it's very interesting. Of course, you guys may or may not know who Pharrell is. Pharrell is a Grammy-winning American musician, producer, rapper, fashion icon. He was tapped in 2023 to create for Louis Vuitton. That doesn't mean anything to me. It might mean something to somebody else, but he's a creative director there. I guess that's a pretty great job to have in the larger scheme of things. So, he's one half of the Neptunes, a nerd, all of that, right? So you guys know who he is. Of course, he had the very popular song. I don't think it won the Oscar, Happy, which is one of my favorite songs, right? That's a long story. I'll tell you about that another day, but Happy, from, I think it was Despicable Me or something like that. But anyway, he classifies himself as a humanitarian, right? He's focused on action rather than politics. Well, recently, he was at the 5th annual Black Ambition Demo Day at Sacred Space Miami, where he was presented to the key with the key to the city. So I guess, he was having a conversation or whatever. And this was reported by, I think, the Miami Herald, and it was picked up by a lot of blogs and a lot of naysayers and things like that, where he, I guess, was asked a question or somehow they got into politics. And this is the snippet that was released all over the internet.
Look at what's going on in the current political climate. I'm just saying I don't want to turn anybody off. I hate politics. Like despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side. So I think when you pick a side, you are only you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just got to say, when I think about it, the wells are drying up, and now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there Black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're Black or because you're the best? Do you want someone to support your startup because you're Black or because you're the best? Right, so I think now for me it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be Black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on, and if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on being the best because I can bank on that, because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
Okay. So that was a little bit, and I know it's kind of muffled, which is why they had the words there. For lack of better words, he doesn't like politics because it's divisive. And he basically said that we should be getting jobs or certain things, not necessarily because we're Black, but because we are the best. Now, of course, with that conversation that has been trending all over the internet, and it's not even to me that it's Pharrell, I just think in general. And I saw somebody say, well, celebrities should stay out of politics or whatever the case is. And I agree with that to some degree. But the fact that he says that he don't really want to get involved, right? It caused division. Let's focus on, as he said, action. People are mad with that. They told him to shut up, be quiet. You don't know what you talking about. Basically, you have to pick a side, just different things. And you don't just very adverse reaction to what he said. Now, me personally, listening to that, and of course, people bring in systemic and institutional racism here and there. Okay, we know that exists. But if I'm just listening to what he's saying, just with the naked ear, I'm like, what did he say that was incendiary? Donovan?
Well, actually, what he was actually doing was politics right there. He's trying to do an influence of a changing of a person's mind or getting a ratification of people to get behind, his thought patterns and whatnot. What he's basically saying was really what a lot of people do say. They really don't care about politics. We already know it's divisive. We can see what's happening in the country. It's nothing new. But I find it really interesting, Demetria, and I'm going to be real about this. I notice that in the Democratic Party, being a recovering Democrat myself, that it seems to me, why is it's always the rich people telling the poor people how they should feel about this and how they should do about this. And all of these rich people are leading all these poor people. Nancy Pelosi, all of these people are rich. Kamala Harris, 20 billion, whatever billion, $2 billion she's, had. I mean, all these rich people are telling the poorest of the poor people how they should vote, what they should do, how they should feel. I just find that just super, super interesting that we get that all the time. And it's just politics, and people are sick of it. And you really can't blame them, because everything that we do is politics. You have to have an opinion about something. People say, well, oh, I don't believe in God, I'm an atheist. Well, you believe in money. An atheist, Demetra, it's really funny. When I went to war with a lot of people that were atheists. When we got the call to go in nice and low to this austere ground field, those atheists believed in God very, very quickly. So it is divisive, but politics is divisive, but it's a necessary need. If you are not engaged in your politics, look at what's happening in Chicago. I was watching the video on Chicago today, and what they're doing in Chicago, and how you've got these black politicians that are basically saying, oh, there's no such thing as an illegal person. You're dehumanizing them. When you come over to another country illegally, that is a legal term. But see how they try to take this stuff, and they make it so divisive to where people got to decipher it and spin it. It's a form of life, and it's something. If you don't pay attention to politics, if you like it or not, we live here on this planet. We live here in this country. If you do not pay attention to politics, look what happened to California in regards to black people being marginalized here. Jessica Jackson, who lived in California for a very long time, is out there warning the people of Chicago what is happening. And do you know why it's happening in Chicago? It's happening in Atlanta. It's happening in New York. It's going to be happening in Dallas. It's going to be happening in New Orleans. It's just a matter of time, because people are not paying attention to politics. They're letting these people write their own rules and do what they want as they're getting robbed, deaf, dumb, and blind. How many of you guys are aware in Chicago, people are getting property taxed double from last year? This is how they're going to pay for things. Now think about this. If the city of Chicago is taxing the black areas, which is a form of gentrification, which is what they did here in California, how are you going to pay a tax if it gets so high where you can't even pay your property tax, and then the government can come in and take your house? This is what's happening. That's why politics, like it or not, it's something that you have to participate in.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to some of these. Let's see. And Ezekiel, he said, he says, what is being denied, said, a job because of your skin color. Yeah, that happens a lot, right? Especially over here. It's a thing, but I think for me, I think people are missing the larger conversation, right? And I keep hearing just, from different people and stuff in the comments, and Donovan kind of alluded to it, wealthy people. I'm like, well, I'm gonna listen to people who get it, right? Especially if that's your goal, to figure out how to be successful. They say if you're the most successful person in your circle, then you're never going to go probably any higher than that, right? You need to get around other people who are doing maybe better than you, got some advice or whatever. So I don't mind rich people disseminating information. But what I heard Pharrell say, I heard him say a couple of things. And I want to say this too. For me personally, I only want celebrities to do one thing. That's entertain me. I don't want them to tell me about who I should vote for, this, that, and the other, which we know the Democrat Party, they're very good at, bringing celebrities up on the stage and, oh, well, gosh, I'm just here as a concerned citizen. No, you're not, right? You're getting a lot of money to come up there and say that. So I just need you to do whatever it is you do. You sing, you dance, that's what I need you to do. Okay. But what I heard him say, let me write this down because I know I'll forget. Hold on. Okay, so one of the things I heard him say was this. When he says that, for lack of better words, politics is very divisive, this is what I heard him say. I heard him in a sense say, what has been said in this book, the Communist Manifesto, right? This has been around for over 100 years, well over 100 years, and it said the same thing. That especially when it comes to politics, its job is to set, its sole purpose is to divide. That's what politics' job is, right? And we talk about this a lot. The team Democrat, team Republican. But what Pharrell was simply saying is, okay, well, what we gonna do, right? Says now that they gotten rid of DEI and all these other things, what next, right? And he's right. Regardless of what color you are, green, purple, pink, brown. Okay, if you're a business owner, right? Just work with me here. If you're a business owner, as he said, I mean, because we got to learn how to listen. And I'm not necessarily a fan of Pharrell. I like some of his things. I don't like what he's done to some of his artists. I will say that. But let's just work with me here. You're a business owner. You got somebody coming in saying, hire me because I'm pink. Or somebody says, hire me because I can actually get the job done. What are you going to do? You're going to hire the person that says, I can get the job done. Now, I know we as Black people, we have been discriminated against, even though we are Black and are the best for the job. But, you know, he's basically saying, man, bump all this politics. Let's get to the money. Because the people that are getting to the money are the politicians. Ain't nobody else getting to the money. And if you think I'm lying, look what happened a week ago when the shutdown was going on. There were people who literally were not getting money, the federal workers. Still people haven't gotten their food stamps and all of that. But guess who was getting their checks? The politicians. They didn't say, nah, I'm gonna be in the trenches with y'all. Don't give me my check. Keep my check. If my people don't get paid, I don't get paid. None of them said that. They got their checks. So when he says that politics is divisive, he's right. Now, I don't know if that's something he volunteered. It sounds like maybe somebody asked him that. But he gave his honest opinion, and people are mad. Now, the other thing that he kind of said that I didn't hear him say is do for self. Or which is what he should have probably said. I don't know if he said that. But we know here as Black people in America, we are always kind of been on, I don't know why I'm doing it, I want to play football or something, I don't know. But we've always been kind of, give me a job, give me a job, give me a job. And we've been told to do what? For self. We've been told, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. So I think what he's saying with DEI and all that off the table, why are we still having these conversations about what somebody won't allow me to do because I'm Black, this, that, and the other? Why don't you take your Black self and go create a Black job and hire more Black people so we don't have to keep having this conversation? See, that's where the conversation should be, not whether he should be able to say this or he should be able to say that and why he just For real, if he never speaks to us again, that is not going to affect what goes on our table. If we never see Pharrell again, that doesn't decide whether my lights stay on or not. So, you know, I think we got to dispel that a little bit too. Rich people, you know, they rich people talk to me because I want to hear how you getting it. You know what I mean? If you volunteering the advice, yeah, I want to talk to people that are a little bit more, a lot more successful than me. So I'm just saying. OG, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? And JJ, you say Nicki Minaj running her mouth about Trump going into Nigeria to help Christian. Ain't nobody listening to her. She's on crack. Okay, she's on crack.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but I saw the signs. I see the signs, right? Easy says D.
I would still date her.
I know that you would.
I can save her.
Yeah, and then you be at the clinic talking, my doctor, I got plastikitis. How do I get rid of it? Easy says D, the way he worded that, he was saying is dismissive rhetoric and borderline gaslighting to me. I don't know. I didn't hear that. I just basically heard him say, I'm not about to be sitting up here talking about politics. Okay, it's divisive, and he's right. My thing is, I always like to say, where is the lie? Right? What was he lying when he said politics is divisive? You know, man, we don't like how he said it again. I'm not a fan of Pharrell. I'm not. I don't like how some artists have said that he's done them or whatever. I'm not a fan, but I can listen to what he said and say, I don't see the problem. Now, maybe it's a little nuanced or he's kind of making it a little too simple. But the overall message of what he's saying, I'm like, I don't understand why people are upset about that. Because the minute he says, well, I'm a, see, because this is the thing, not saying you easy, but had he said, I'm a Democrat, oh, you know why? I don't know why I didn't vote for Kamala. Y'all should have voted for Kamala. Then most of the people who are criticizing Pharrell, not y'all, would have been all right with that. Yeah, he right, because you did get, or he would have said, I'm a Trumpian. I'm mad. Oh my God. But he simply said, hey, y'all do all that. That to me is divisive, right? So he said, I'm not choosing. So yeah. The real Aaron, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Albie Chill says that, and the masses is under vast psychosis by way of entertainment. Come on now. Sunlight says our city council misappropriated 10 million and everyone was against it. It still passed. Because a lot of times people don't even know what's on the ballot, right? They're like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and the thing is, Sunlight, as you know, you only need to give a few white envelopes to 5, 6 city council members or however many council members you got. And the Open Meetings Act, that's just a formality. The vote has already been decided.
Kwanya says some Native Californians have chosen to return to fight for our rights because this is nationwide Cali pride. Yeah, I mean, shout out, fight for your rights or whatever the case is. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Nate, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sorry it took me so long to get to you. Says he is just another part of the decadent veil. Antonio Moore already wrote about that. I don't follow Antonio Moore, but I guess decadent veil, whatever that is. So I don't be getting all that far into the weeds with all of that. I just know what I heard him say, and I didn't hear anything that he said it was wrong. But see, when celebrities say things, on one hand, we say, yeah, you don't tell us what to do. You can't tell us about politics. And then when they say something, it's like, well, how dare he? At the end of the day, he can say whatever he want to say. See, my attitude be like, who gonna check me, boo? You know what I mean? I don't even understand why people are mad at him for what he said. I don't know. I never thought Pharrell was that important to really be like, oh, he should pick a side or say this or that or whatever. Was it dismissive? I don't know. I don't know if that was his intent. But he said politics is divisive, and I'm like, where is the line? That's all I'm figuring. And he says, hey, basically, let's get it out the mud. That's all he was. That's what I heard him say. I won't say all he was saying, but what do I know? A True Warrior says, if you don't like politics, then you're going to have to live off the grid in the mountains or deserts. No, you don't. There's a lot of people who don't like politics, who do not delve into politics. See, that's the other lie that's been perpetuated, that we got to get involved. You got to choose a side. If you don't choose a side, right, there's some people say, I'll let y'all deal with that stress. Or I can pick a side, but it ain't your business. I don't got to tell you who I'm voting for, what I'm voting for, because when I go into that booth, that's a private decision between me and that ballot. See, that's the other thing, too. We think if I don't tell everybody what I'm doing or you don't know what I'm doing, then you ain't doing enough. I just don't got to announce that to you. Right, that's my decision to do what I want to do within that booth, right? Brother Reggie, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, shut up, you stupid. Says, shut up and sing, nickel. I mean, yeah, for me, that's what I'm like. That's what celebrities' jobs are. I don't listen to them for, that kind of stuff. Now, he dropping some jewels about how to get to the money. All right, I'll take a note or two, JJ says, even Floyd Mayweather telling the Israel government he'll always support them. Ain't nobody listening to him. You know what I mean? Clearly, Floyd is bought and paid for. You know what I mean? And it's sad, actually. Aaron says, I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago, but now live in California. When I visited back in Chicago in 2021, or 22 rather, said I did notice a few changes myself. See, I feel like that when I go back to California and visit. My whole family is there. Easy says, Pharrell, go put on another dress. Oh, Lord. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would y'all want him to say? You know what I'm saying? I guess it's like, what should he have said, I guess? I don't know. Should he have chosen a side? Because, when he chooses a side, then the other half of people are pissed off at him, right? So it's like, I would rather not. Again, if you know that politics is by design to keep people arguing, then why would you get involved in that? John, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says big corporations are being all up in the new homes, buying up, I think you meant, the new homes in my area and trying to get homeowners to sell. They make the homes rentals only. Yeah, that's, what is that? With Black something, Water Rock or something like that. That's supposed to be doing that. Yeah, that's the game right there. But they're going to end up having a whole lot of houses that people can't afford to live in, True Warrior says, no, every group of people supports their own unapologetically because it's their own, regardless of skill levels. We're the only group that deviates from human nature. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I agree. That's why I said I think the other part of that conversation should have been Black people, let's do for self, like everybody else has been telling us to do. You know, I'm me personally tired of having conversations about what white folks won't let me do. You won't let me come up in your company and work. You know. Let's see who else is in here that I have not seen. GM South, how you doing? Says, don't worry, Pharrell didn't say anything important. Yeah. Apology accepted. How you doing? Says, Demetra is right. I'll take it. MC Fact, how you doing? Says, let's hit that like button. Well, thank you. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Sunlight says, I feel like we should disengage and focus on building up economics and being self-sufficient and independent as a people. Without economic leverage, it's just wasted energy. Yeah.
Yeah, but you need politics and legislation to do all of that. That's the thing. I know it's nice and it sounds utopian to say, oh, we can just disengage, but you can't. You can't do anything in this country without legislation and laws. So you have to engage. And so how do you do that? We've found in the last 400 years that Black people have been here. What have they used against us more so than anything else against us? The laws. That's why they could zone a Black neighborhood under a damn freeway, or put a man-made lake and flood a whole Black area out, build a $6 billion stadium in the heart of South Central Los Angeles and public domain the property. All this stuff is being done under legal law and legislation that's being done. And you know the sad thing about all this, that that it's being done, they're using Black politicians to do it. So we can't just put our heads in the sand and hope things are going to go away. Because even if, let's say we did start our own group, our own society, that society still has to have laws. It still has to have a way of movement and a way of, right and wrong and what's this and what's that. So you really can't get away from it. So what we've got to do is, the first step is get the right damn politicians into place to make it advantageous for us. How many times have I said on this program, we have more than enough police chiefs. Most of your police chiefs are in major cities, in medium cities, are mostly Black, but yet the police culture doesn't change. Look at all the Black politicians that we have. Look at all the Black prosecutors we have, defenders we have, Black judges that we have, but yet the Black plight in America is getting worse and worse and worse, and they are marginalizing us in every major city now. Chicago is next. The two big cities have already fallen, California and New York. They're working on Chicago right now. After Chicago, it's going to be Houston. That's just how they're going to do it, and we're going to be marginalized because we keep re-electing the same bootlicks that promise nothing for us. How is it that the people of Chicago, I'm just using Chicago as an example, their taxes can double, right? And they're using those taxes to support people that shouldn't be here to begin with. And those people are getting free housing, free food, free this, free that. But the people that are paying the very taxes are getting nothing. Just saying.
Absolutely. And Kelly, you say, what's wrong with having a stadium in a major city? Because they usually put it in areas that cannot afford for that to be there, and they get gentrified out, priced out, and all of that. They always do it to especially Black communities, and those Black communities are no more. If you think I'm lying, look at SoFi Stadium.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah. SoFi, $6 billion in the heart of South Central Los Angeles, historic Black neighborhood. Yeah. Beverly Hills is only 15 miles up north away from SoFi Stadium. That's where all the rich white folks are. Why couldn't they build it up there? They're the only ones that can afford the tickets.
And not even that, we did this story, a copious amount of stories on this, and there was a Black man, it's a Black neighborhood, at that time when they was building, his rent was like $1,100 or something like that. And when the stadium came in, it rose to $3,000. He moved in with his sister, and then her rent went up, and they had to move. Now they had been there for years. And when that stadium came, it just, it displaced all the people who make was Inglewood, right? Or South Central, make that where it is.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't that the start of the rise of the black homelessness in LA? That's where it really started.
For what? Sport and play. So that's the problem. They want to put it somewhere where it's not going to displace people. And they say traffic is absolutely horrendous there. Horrendous for the people who live in that neighborhood for sport and play. So that's the problem with that. Now, True Warrior says, here's what he should have said. You should be informed and make informed decisions which serve your interests. Why do we need Pharrell to tell us that? You grown? I'm grown. I don't need Pharrell to tell me that. Pharrell, he's probably younger than me. I don't need Pharrell to tell me to be informed and make informed decisions. See, that's again, on one hand, we don't want them to tell us what to do. And then on the other one, we want them to tell us what to do. So which is it? I don't need Pharrell to tell me what, you know what Pharrell could tell me what to do? When he write me a check, and he say, hey, Demetria, I'm going to write you a check, but I won't be able to tell you what to do. Bet. You want me to hop up and down on, on one leg? I mean, I'm just being funny, but I'm just saying. You know, I don't listen to Pharrell for that. You know, let's be happy. That's what I want to hear him say, right? Let's see. Tiffany, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. You say, oh, and Spider, you say Dr. Claude tried to warn us. He surely did. Sunlight says you can't do anything to influence legislation without money. Yeah, you need some money. Tiffany says they ignore the black vote they collect. We don't stand a chance not voting at all. I don't know. I guess. I just feel like Donovan said, we don't vote for the right people. You know, people hollering about civil rights. Civil rights. Oh, they're taking civil rights. Well, you've been doing the wrong thing with the civil rights. You ain't been using them right. You've been voting. When I say you, I mean us. We've been voting for everybody else to get what they want. They've been benefiting from civil rights and all this other stuff. Everybody's benefited from it but us. So it's like, I'm one of those people like, okay, I'm with voting. I am, especially I went and voted a couple weeks ago, right? The little things they had on the ballot. But my thing is, okay, great. We're going to vote. But what are we doing with the vote? Is it going to benefit me? Is it going to benefit us? Or is it going to benefit everybody else? And am I just doing it to get the sticker that says I voted today? That's what I want to know these things, right? Because you hear these people say, vote, 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 vote. I think we probably vote. I don't know. It's arguably some people say we don't, and some people say we do, but we do vote nevertheless. And what have we gotten for it? So the conversation needs to shift from just vote to let's vote for something that's actually going to benefit us. See, we're not having that conversation, I think. Sunlight says, is that not what Asians do? Yeah, Asians, they got their money working for them. That's what Dr. Claude Anderson said. Use the money to influence politics, right? That was the 5-floor building that he talks about, influencing politics. Najiki Wendy says, melanated people have been here longer than 400 years. That is true. Sunlight says, you can get the right politicians and keep them. I think you can't get the right politicians in and keep them without money. Yeah, you need the money. And Kelly, okay, so I read that. And Alex, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, if Dr. Khalid Muhammad is alive today to talk sense about today's Black people, well, he's not alive. And again, he would be in his 80s, but his material is still here. His lectures are still here. Why can't we think about what he said? Because let's be honest, these people, these greats in our community, they're not going to be here forever. You know, there's a say you could, and I'm not saying this in this way, but I'm saying as how I say you can kill the man, but you can't kill his ideas. You can't kill his works, right? You can't kill his influence. So, you know, his work is still here. Those teachings, we know where he got those teachings from. So why aren't we doing those things? Do we need him to be standing here? I said, what are we doing at this point? You know? Oh, Alicia, how you doing? Hope you're doing well today. I said, Donovan, keep telling the truth. JJ said, Dr. Claude Anderson predicted all this 35 years ago and it fell on deaf ears. It's still falling on deaf ears because we wondering why Pharrell ain't saying what he should be saying. Damn Pharrell. Really? You know what I'm saying? Damn Pharrell. Marvin, how you doing? Says, that's right. Politicians laugh out loud. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. Who else? Dr. J.H. Irons, how you doing? Says, no more immigrant politicians. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of up to us, right? If we got to get people in there that represent us, you know. And unfortunately, it may not be somebody black. It may be somebody who ain't black. I tell y'all the story all the time. When I started the BSU at my high school, I started that, and I asked all the black teachers because we needed a sponsor, right? You needed a teacher sponsor. All the black teachers told me no, I can't do it. I could not get a BSU Black Student Union without a sponsor. And all the black teachers told me no. You know who told me yes? Mr. Hughes, a white man. He said, yeah. And he just needed to be in the classroom. He didn't need to say nothing. He just needed to be there to make sure kids, because that's what we are in high school, right? Weren't doing stuff we weren't supposed to be doing. And he said yes. And that's how we got a BSU. So I hear in theory, yeah, it should be somebody black, but it may not be somebody black. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, to your point, you know, the immigrants, a lot of them have proven that they're not for Black Americans, but we know that they're there by design to not be for Black Americans. And we're just kind of like, oh, I didn't know. We just think because they Black, then they gonna, you know, Barack Obama should have taught us that, you know. All right, so let's see. Sherry, how you doing? Says, I truly believe they want the Black people to fail on their taxes in Chicago so they can get those homes to be legal. He says, and Pharrell is 56, but I lost respect for him when he put that is DR or something. I don't know what that is. I didn't know Pharrell was that old. Damn, Pharrell.
He's on our age group.
I didn't know he was 56. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he looked good for 56.
Yeah, 56, and he has 5 or 6 kids. Been married for over 20 years.
He's been with his wife for a long time. See, you see that, fellas? Get you a wife and sit your ass down somewhere. You know, make you look young. Aaron says, I have to work at a concert at SoFi Stadium tonight. I just worked the Rams game yesterday. The demographics of South Los Angeles, Inglewood, Compton, etc. have changed from predominantly Black to Latino. Oh, yes, most definitely.
They have marginalized us out of here. Again, I'm going to say it every time I come on the show that I can. California is the blueprint of the Democratic policy toward Black people. They did it in New York. They're now doing it in Chicago. And again, it makes no sense. How do you, I don't even think it's legal, Demetra. How can you price property tax 100% from the year before? See, in California, they were doing that in the 70s, and we had Proposition 13, which stopped that. They can only raise it at a certain amount. But in Chicago, in some people's property tax went up 100%. I don't even think that's legal.
Yeah, that sounds very problematic. But I will say that there's a lot of people here in Texas not being able to keep their homes because the insurance is going up. And Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the nation. So those things keep going up and all that. A lot of people are just saying, I can't afford to keep my house. So they're just selling it or whatever it is. So
yeah, and I want you guys to think about the targeted pinpoint of Black women that lost their jobs in that earlier jobs report back in spring. Yeah. Think about all those successful, strong, independent Black women that had their own homes. Of course, they didn't buy the home outright. They've got a mortgage. They lost their jobs. They've been out of work now for what? Almost 6 months now. And then the government shutdown didn't help the situation either. And I'm a firm believer, Demetra, you were in banking, but I'm a firm believer. They know on those banknotes who's Black, who's Hispanic, and who's white. Because it seems to me, whenever there's a crisis, Black people seem to lose their houses more comparatively to other groups.
It's all by design. Land and real estate builds wealth. You can leave real estate, as generational wealth. So yeah, Al, how you doing? So Ted Cruz is planning to run in 2028. I saw something like that. It kind of sounded like he steered away from it, but I've seen that he is running. He doesn't have a chance, a snowball chance in hell. Okay, they barely want him to be a senator here, let alone run the country with his funky self. He's the one that took off to Cancun, him and Heidi and the girls, left the damn dog during the freeze, right? So nobody wants Ted Cruz in the White House. And, at the end of the day, ain't he Mexican or something? Or he Cuban? Or is he white?
Yeah, he's a white Cuban.
Yeah, so he, he can be delusional if he want to.
Do you guys remember that interview on CNN with John Leguizamo? And he was saying how immigrants, Latinos, built the country and all this other stuff. He was talking so crazy. Why is it that they always adopt our struggle? But I remember in that interview, and I was watching it earlier today, and he had said that, we got to do better as Latinos because, he goes, I'm a white Latino, so I have a little privilege. He was bragging about his white Latino privilege. But then at the same time, he said that how they marginalize the darker Latinos. So, and then I said, wow, out of his own mouth, he said that his culture has a problem with the dark Latinos. And yet all of these Latinos have flooded into this country with their racism, which is in his culture, and you got to deal with Black people that are already here. And I don't think he realized what he was saying as he was saying it. But if you guys get a chance to go look at that interview, go check it out. It's pretty telling of how this fool thinks.
Ain't nobody thinking about John Leguizamo either. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Facts and feelings. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says peace and love, family. Pharrell is not serious for real. He says all shout out to Jay-Z, right? For real. He says all these moguls with mogul money can't seem to do anything to push Black people ahead. I mean, I guess I don't know if that's why they're there. I don't think they've been put in position to push Black people ahead. We know that we talk about this all the time. The greatest threat to America is Black unity. They're not putting Pharrell and Jay-Z and all of them in positions to help other Black people. They don't want that to be the case. Those are what Dr. Claude Anderson referred to as the exceptional Negroes, right? They let one or two make it, and then there's this false idea of, well, if I can make it, you can make it type thing. And it's just not true. But that's not Pharrell's job. It's not Pharrell's job to push Black people ahead. But you know what the crazy part is, Facts Not Feelings, is with him, especially being ahead of Louis Vuitton, Black people gonna go out and buy that ugly stuff he making. They are. Louis Vuitton is under pressure now. And the white lady called them out. A white lady who's in the design world, a fashion world. So I don't know if it's under Pharrell's leadership, that portion of Louis Vuitton, but is it Ghana? I think it is, where they have these grocery bags, and they're not like the grocery bags over here in the States. They're like fabric bags, and they're real big, and they take it and they go put all their stuff in. Well, Louis Vuitton thought they would steal the idea and make it into, fashion bags, and these bags go for $3,000 a piece. And the white lady called them out. She was like, "Don't buy these bags. They stole this from Ghanaians. They stole this from them, and now they're gonna push this out as it's something they did." She says that's what they do. They steal from Black people, and then but then how many Black people will go buy that? You know what I'm saying? So it's not Pharrell's job to push other Black people forward. Ideally, yeah, but that's not what he's there for. He wouldn't be there long if he says, "Listen, bump all that. I'm here to push Black people forward." They'd be like, "Yeah, thank you. Well, don't come back." So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he's 52. I was like 56 sound kind of up there. I didn't think he was that old. But thank you, Tracy. Let's see. Evan, how you doing? Says we already experienced gentrification in Denver, Colorado. It's going on everywhere. Corey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says exactly. I have some people help me who are non-Black. Yeah, and again, this is not one of those. And me and you aren't saying this, Corey, because I think I have to preface this because somebody will say that. We're not saying that's why they're not problematic. We're saying that to think that all Black people that we put in positions of power are going to help us is just not true. There's a lot of people, like I'm a kid, right? I'm 17 essentially. Hey, going to all the Blacks. Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? I need to get a BS. Mind you, the school been there since like 1965. Okay. I graduated 89. There was no BSU. So I'm like, damn, let's get us. Can you help me? Can you help? Nah, I'm busy. Oh, I can't do it. I think we just need you to be there an hour. Or when we, plan and stuff. No, I can't do it. No, I can't. These are Black people, Black teachers who you would think, since we're around you all day, would be some sort of a positive influence. But that's why I always say, too, what are you doing besides being Black? Because all Black people aren't interested in helping Black people. And they just don't want to. So I don't know. Connor, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says never voted neither. You're the problem if you hate politics. Too black and all. I mean, it's your right. I don't like politics either, because especially now, I see what politics is mounted to. Nobody, the people are not being served in either administration. Only a few people being served. Politics has done what for us? When it's working right, and I don't know. I guess there was a time maybe it did. I don't know, the 1800s. I don't know, but what is politics, Donovan? Can you help me? What is politics actually? How is it? Do we see it as a net benefit for the people?
Well, no, actually, in my opinion, politics is something to quantify the government and what they're doing. Because again, if politics was really what it's supposed to be, if democracy was really what it's supposed to be, why do we have the electoral college? It should be majority vote rules. It's something that was set up. I guess, okay, wait, if I remember it right, Ben Franklin said this: you cannot let I'm paraphrasing, you can't let the average moron decide who's going to lead the country. So it was up to the intellectuals. Because remember, at one time in this country, you had to be white, Protestant, this to even vote. So that left out a majority of the people out of the political system altogether, because they did not want the average Joe Six-Pack to make decisions in regards to what's going on in the country and who's going to steal the money and who's going to get the money.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think he was off the mark when he says that he hates politics. I mean, to me, you hate politics, and most people don't even know about politics, right? They vote blue no matter who because their mom and their daddies was voting blue no matter who. Or I'm a Republican because it goes way back in the gap with my family. But most people don't understand politics.
Well, ask yourself this, you guys, Dimitri. I always tell people this all the time. We talk about this great document known as the Constitution. It's a living, breathing document, and we're just so proud as Americans. And all these people come to this country because they heard about this great country and all the rights we get here. If being a citizen of the United States is like getting the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? If it's so great, why is it that they spend a paragraph in an American history book teaching you your basic civil rights in this country and how government works? They don't really go in depth with it. They give you what? A couple of weeks? Maybe the teacher goes over and then there you go. You got people out here that think driving is a right when it's a privilege. So that's what I'm saying. They don't want you to know what your rights are. That's why when you go out there, you got people that think police officers know the law. Police officers do not know the law. They know arrest. That's what they know. Now, some of them go on to become lawyers and stuff. Again, look at the lawyers. It's called practicing law, not mastering law. It's called practicing law. They're still learning themselves as the thing, moves and, unfolds over. But ask yourself that, as great as this country is, why is it that most of us don't know the basic tenets of the Constitution? We don't know it. To me, it's like knowing the 10 Commandments. Most of us that are Christians or people that are religious, they know the 10 Commandments. You could give me at least 5 of them, right? But if you ask the average American, give me 5 amendments to the Constitution, they couldn't give you the 5.
We the people. I'm just saying. Kwame says we didn't have voting rights in 1880, says, and we still fighting for civil rights in 1960s. Thus, it takes blood. Thus, where are the veterans like Deacons of Defense or Black Panther Party who stood up for the people today? Well, in the 1970s, we did. When I say we, as Black people, Black men had rights. No woman had rights in the 1980s or 1880s, 70s. Women didn't have rights at all, but Black men, I think at that time, held more seats in Congress than even now. Don't quote me, but I believe that to be the case. Of course, we know that's where the KKK and a lot of those groups came from to terrorize Black men who were making those decisions in Congress, right? They had a little bit of rights and things like that. Of course, we know that the women did not get rights to vote until the early 1900s, the suffrage movement. That's what the first wave of feminism was about. And that wave of feminism came about because they were mad that the black man could vote, but the white woman couldn't vote. That was Susan B. Anthony and all of them that was like, well, why can't he vote and we can't vote, right? Of course, when we were in school, they told us Susan B. Anthony, they put that heifer on a quarter or a dollar, whatever it was. They told us that she was a hero, but she wasn't. She was a big-time raging racist. Her and her homegirls, they used the black man in order to secure the right to vote for themselves. Now, voters' rights came in obviously during the 50s and the 60s, because it's not that we couldn't vote, we were just suppressed, right? The poll taxes and the things like that. And then when they brought in voters' rights, then all that stuff was supposed to go away. But now we're hearing about them trying to take the voters' rights. And I say that loosely because what rights do we even still have as black people in America? So let's be clear that black men could vote. They had the right to vote. But all the stuff that I just said. So I be knowing what I'm talking about just a little bit, but I hear what you're saying. But even if we never voted, and there was so much suppression when our people were trying to vote before all these voter rights and things came about, our people got it out the mud. I always point to this picture here. Madam C.J. Walker wasn't concerned with no damn voters' rights. I never heard of her being concerned with that. She was like, hey, I'm going to build something so I can hire my people, because as they say in the nation, there is no freedom without economic justice, right? So we could talk about white people, let me vote. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to vote, but then are we voting to get something for it? Or are we just saying, hey, I'm here, check on, I voted for this person, now I'm going to go home? I'm just asking. See, that's what happened when you pay attention in class. Let's see. Corey says some black love being disgusting towards each other. Yeah, we got to change that. You know, we should stop being disgusting toward each other. And then Jiki Winnie says, George Bush said, just because you get all the votes doesn't mean you're going to win. Yeah, of course. You should say shout out to Jeb Bush, right? With those hanging chads and all that other stuff they had going on in Florida. Albie Chill says, is voting really counted would be illegal? Laugh out loud. George Carlin. Yes, indeed. He sure did say that. So, you know, it's just to make you think you doing something, right? It makes you swell up with pride. I'm participating in the process. And like Donovan said, I mean, why can't they just have the popular vote? Why they need all this other stuff? Because they really don't trust the people, right? So they got to, you know, draw these lines and all this other stuff to say, well, yeah, you got the popular vote. However, you didn't get the most electorates. You know, so it's a game. You're being played. Dr. J.H. says, remember these folks didn't even want their own women to vote? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like when you know history, that suffrage movement, that's why I say this is feminism stuff. If you really do your due diligence, you like, they got the right to vote because they was hating on black men. I know Susan B. Anthony let the N-word rip a whole lot of times of her to the white men. Why do they get those voting? I can't. I'm a good white woman. You know, and you got all these silly sisters marching with the women's movement, you know, shouting out to Susan B. Anthony. It's like, damn, Susan B. Anthony. You know, don't get me started.
And you got the sisters doing the same thing to this very day.
Yeah, I saw some. I think the NAACP, I think I did a story not too long ago, was big up in Susan B. Anthony. It's like, why? Susan B. Anthony didn't care about no black people. African Native says law enforcement and policing is the same. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you break them down to the brokest of brokestivity, maybe I'll let Donovan do that. Policing and law enforcement, I don't know. Policing just kind of seems like you're kind of like monitoring something. Now, enforcing the law, I don't know. It could be, let me shut up. Because listen, I don't work here.
Yeah, not all people that have a badge, it's like a security guard. They don't enforce the law, but they do policing.
There you go. Where you going, boy? That's policing, okay? The Kwanya says, Too many military veterans today are living high on the hog, off the hog. I found a way to serve this country without being in the military because I took what my elders said to heart. Plus, brother Muhammad Ali said, yeah, I mean, I don't demonize anybody who's been in the military. Somebody got to do it. I just wasn't going, and I don't fault anybody or demonize anybody else for going or whatever the case is. But I think if you've served in the military and you've given something for this country, most people come back from war, especially, they don't come back the same. You can argue about that, how, why, all that. But yeah, they should be entitled to things. They paid, a lot of people gave up people. Well, there's people literally, and I know some of those people, well, they're not the same. And so they should be paid for what they've done.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing. And I answered his question in the chat. As a veteran myself, I mean, yeah, it seems like some of us are living high off the hog, especially the officer corps and stuff like that. But at the same time, how do you quantify over 1 million veterans that are homeless living in the streets around this nation? Over 1 million, plus the mental illness that also encompasses a lot of them that aren't homeless. See, nobody sees that. They just, and I'm not saying, what you don't see isn't reality, but there are more veterans that are jacked up and being taken advantage of. Think about this. If there's 1 million veterans that are homeless, you can't solve the homeless veteran crisis for these people that served you. But you can house illegal immigrants that shouldn't be here to begin with and give them free food and all this other stuff. But to the veteran, you tell them, get it out of the mud. That's what's actually going on. But again, I feel that anybody that served this country, if they are living high off the hog, they deserve to be.
Yeah, I would never argue that at all. Never. Yeah, and you're right. Seneca Falls Convention was the start of the feminist movement in 1848, and there was no black women invited. They didn't care about no black woman. They didn't care about the black man. They literally used the black man being able to be in office and vote and things for the reasons they should be doing it, because they're basically like, surely that black man is not considered to be better than us. So yeah, and a lot of them, they was pro-Klan. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, they was very pro-Klan. If it take the Klan to get these Negroes out of office, then so be it. And to fight for our rights to vote, so be it. But yeah, a lot of people just don't know that. I mean, I can learn about Susan B. Anthony, and I didn't learn from the standpoint when I was in, grade school or whatever. Damn, I'm old, talking about some damn grade school, like I'm on Little House on the Prairie or something. But I didn't learn that Susan B. Anthony didn't like black people. I learned that she was just hero. She fought for the women's rights. But they said women's rights, but they didn't say white women's rights.
Right. African Native says many American soldiers are foreign recruits. That's true, too. But again, why are they foreign recruits? I'll tell you why. A lot of these foreign people join the military. It's a fast track to citizenship. So they're not joining the military because they have a love for this country in a lot of cases. They're doing it because, once again, a lot of these foreign people come here to get what they can get. And it's a fast tracking way to become a citizen. I have a buddy right now, United States Marine. He is sitting in Tijuana right now because somewhere his paperwork for his citizenship got messed up and he had to go deport over there until they fix it out. This guy served the country and he got deported, but he'll be the first to tell you the only reason he joined the Marine Corps was it was a fast track to citizenship.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't mind either. I'll be chill not at all. And Quine says exactly my point. Hold on. I hold 3 degrees like y'all, plus some other credentials, but I don't measure my word by that standard. Obadiah 1 and 12. Thus we need to speak with each other. I rarely talk about my degrees at all. In fact, I be forgetting I have them. You know what I mean? I don't talk about them at all because I'm with you. I think they help, obviously, to do certain things in life, but that don't make anybody better than, the next or whatever. It just means that you went and got a little education or whatever the case is. But, I feel like common sense is free. Sister Shirley says the Democrats and Republicans are too much salt or too much sugar. Neither one is good for you. There you go. Quine says, I helped our veterans by feeding them and even build houses for them. You know what? shout out to you, because we need, more people to do that. And to that point, you shouldn't have to do that. The government should be taking care of these veterans. It shouldn't. Like, to be able to say homeless veteran in the same sentence is crazy, or a hungry veteran is crazy.
In the richest country on the world.
Yeah, but they fund in other, countries, militaries and things like that. But you got veterans here, in the streets. It's a shame. That is a shame. It is
national disgrace, and God forbid the homeless women veterans and their families that are out there. I mean, these women are trying to get it out of the mud as well. And then when we go to get some help, again, a lot of civilians. And here's another problem in our government. After World War II, up until the 1980s, 90-something% of your congressional members had a military background. It was almost like a requirement. If you're going to run for politics, you had to have some kind of military background. John F. Kennedy, what is he famous for? Everybody knows this. PT 109. Oh, he was a war hero, blah, blah. Everybody knows the story, right? But now, almost 96% of congressional members have never served in the military. The current commander-in-chief now has never served in the military. Joe Biden served, but not really. He was in the Guard or something, whatever. Bill Clinton, Obama, they've never served in the military, and it's quite evident how they feel about the military, because when you have over 1 million veterans that need help and things like that, and they do nothing about it, is because all they know about the military is what they see in these stupid ass movies.
Right. You can't handle the truth. Facts Not Feelings says, did you see those tapes from the 60s with black men pleading with black women about the destructiveness of feminism? I haven't seen those tapes, but I get the gist of what you're saying. I think you got to remember, too, at the crux of all of that is black women probably back then was like, if this white woman is wanting us to come join forces with her, you got to always keep in mind, especially to a lot of people, the closer I am to whiteness, then that's going to make me righteous, right? Even if it means I'm demonizing my man and saying, a sucker, get back. I'm going to go join forces with this white woman. And that's an oxymoron. Ain't no white woman going to join forces with nobody, especially no black woman, right? Black woman was used as a body count to be out there locking arms, burning bras. But as I always say, when that was over with the march, that white woman went home to her husband and her children, put that nasty casserole on the table. And the black woman believed the white woman, we fighting, we down with the man, right? And there's so many people, Shahrazad Ali, Van Zandt, and, Dr. Ava Muhammad, they've all described the relationship between the black man and the black woman way back on the plantation. So it's not that we were always like this. Of course, there was a time, but it's always been, Massa has always had his influence. But yeah, that sister thought, well, this white woman, I deem her to be more important than what's going on in my household. And to this day, that's not, and I want to be clear, feminism is not the only reason why the black community is disjointed. That's a part of it, but it's not the reason, okay? Because again, when we say that's the reason, then we absolve the black man completely. You know what I mean? Not saying that it was his fault totally, but there's so much more to that.
Real quick, GM South Carolina 08 PD, I hope I said that right, says the U.S. proposed military budget for fiscal year 2026 is approximately $1.01 trillion, a significant increase from the previous year. Now, you know that, I know that, Demetra knows that, and a lot of our co-hosts know that. So when a military budget is over $1 trillion and we are not at war in the aspect of a real war, not an operation, a war, Dwight Eisenhower, the first black president, said this: for every dollar that is spent in the military industrial complex is a dollar that is stolen from an American child to eat, be clothed, and educated. $1 trillion. Do you know $1 trillion could pay for all of the universal health care in the United States for the next 5 or 6 years? $1 trillion could pay for the homeless veterans and all this. You guys know what $1 trillion is. When a country spends $1 trillion on their military, we have the biggest military budget in the world. And we are nowhere near the numbers of people that China has. China doesn't spend as much money on their military per capita of their people than we have. There's 350 million Americans, so-called Americans, there's a little less than 1 billion Chinese people, and we spend more money than they do. For every dollar that we allow Congress to give to their corporate overlords is money stolen out of our mouths and our production. Demetra and I used to travel, right? We do these traveling. What was that I asked you, Demetra? If you had to ask somebody to come to the United States, to come see something great that we've built, do you guys realize the United States has not built anything in this country of significance in almost 70 years? What are you going to tell somebody to come and see? Disneyland? They've got Disneyland in France. They've got it in China. They've got it in Japan. What have we built in 70 years here? If you had to sell the United States to somebody, oh, come see the United States. To come see what? Come see what? This is the problem with the military industrial complex and the money that's being stolen right out of our mouths.
Absolutely. Easy says, why is Cynthia Erivo in GQ Men's Magazine? GQ got her listed as Man of the Year. I saw that. But it's not the first time GQ has done that. They actually made Kim Kardashian Man of the Year. I don't like that at all. I don't understand what it's disrespectful to men, right? Whether it's on a magazine or not, making a woman Man of the Year. And why would you as a woman want somebody to give you that designation, a Man of the Year? First of all, I'm a whole woman in these streets, okay? A whole, not a whole woman. I'm a woman in these streets. I'm a woman. I don't need you to be talking about I'm a man, because it almost implies that in order for anybody to think that you've done anything great, you need to be called a man. So to me, that whole little thing is problematic. I would have said, no, thank you. I don't know. Because I don't want to be a part of that conversation of why are they trying to feminize men? Why are they trying to disrespect men? Why are they saying that all the men on the planet, and you couldn't find one man that could be Man of the Year? You needed a bald-headed lady that looked like a bald cat rat. No shade to Cynthia to be on a what has she done that make? I don't know. What has she done? She's a fabulous singer, but what has she done? She's in Wicked. What has she done?
Harriet Tubman movie.
That makes her Man of the Year. I mean, hell, put Harriet Tubman on the magazine then if you want to make somebody Man of the Year, because I think what she did had took balls, right? Now, I don't know. Maybe they think because Cynthia Ballhead looked like I don't know, but I don't know what she's done to become Man of the Year, but I think it's very disrespectful. Hey, that guy from Texas, how you doing? Yeah, it's disrespectful. I don't get it. I don't know. It seems like to me, there's probably got more men that subscribe to GQ magazine. Why don't men boycott and say, hell to the no? This is disrespectful. Get these bald-headed ladies to buy the magazine then. Because that surely isn't for us as a man, right? That's what I would be thinking. Get these ladies to buy it. Since y'all want to be disrespectful and put women as Men of the Year, boycott the magazine. They say this ain't for men no more. It's for, I don't know.
Well, isn't that the same with the what was that magazine? Jet has disappeared. Essence has disappeared because it's been taken over and something else. It's something else now, and that's what's going to happen to GQ magazine and all these other magazines.
I mean, I'm just saying that's for y'all. It was GQ magazine was for men. Of course, the ladies look at it because we like to look at the men, but I don't want to turn up in there and see cue ball head Cynthia Erivo up in there. I don't want to see her.
Talking dusty about blacks and everything. Yeah.
I mean, what? I don't even know what she's talking about. But it's just weird. Like I said, they let Kim. I think Kim Kardashian was one of the first they made Man of the Year because she's got all these businesses and stuff. It's like you can't find no man with a bunch of businesses. I don't know. I think it sends a message to you men like, F you. That's what it says. It's a big F you to men in a men's magazine. I mean, on one hand, you got, and I don't know if it's the same, not, but I'm just kind of getting this correlation. You got it where a man who says he's a woman goes into a woman's locker room and all hell breaks loose because his stuff is swinging everywhere and it's disrespectful, and it is. But if a man was to say, why is Cynthia on the front of GQ magazine as man of the year, then oh well, you just hate it, just women, just why y'all always got something to say about women, and y'all just can't your fragile egos, you're just toxic masculinity. So I don't know. I just wouldn't buy a magazine that's supposed to be for me, but it's got her on there. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and I probably don't. Yeah, Tracy said, you talking about the aliens. Yeah, she look weird. It's like, I don't know. It's like, what does that say to Black women?
Well, it's kind of like the bull ring and all this stuff that's going on. It's almost like these people are demonizing themselves in some form or at least in my opinion, demonizing themselves in form or fashion, because that bull ring thing, I don't know who said that looks good. I just don't know. I don't understand it at all.
Are you that septum ring? Yeah. JJ says men will buy a magazine if a woman is on the cover, but some YouTubers say Cynthia is not going to attract men. I mean, if I just, for me, man of the year and it's a woman, what is that saying to men? You're not good enough? Move over, bacon?
Well, it's the same thing as what's that movie? The Emperor Queen or whatever. What was that movie?
The Woman King. Y'all see, I saw the movie. If y'all see the movie, the Woman King was not what y'all been told by the people on Twitter. I saw the movie, and that y'all gotta watch the movie. Woman King, I think it got an unfair narrative from people who didn't see the movie. But I get where you're going with that. But she wasn't considered the king at all. At all.
Right, but what I'm saying is the narrative and the title is disrespectful. Why would you?
But because you watch the movie, you'll know why the king called her that. You'll know why he called her that. So but I get where you're going, with that. For me, I thought that was a shame that people didn't watch the movie, but they had all this to say about it. I don't know, it was just weird. Crystal, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, easy. It looked like a cue ball. Could be wrong.
I like Tracy's take on it. She says, I think putting her on the cover was more of an attack on us as Black women, period. I really do think that. I agree with that.
And Robert, thank you for that. It says, I love your voice, Demetri. Your voice reminds me of Dinah Washington. Do you sing? I do sing. I don't sing. I sing. I'm a trained singer. I'm alto. Guess by nature, I've lettered in choir. I've sang in choir in church. I sang choir all from elementary all the way through college, some courses. So yeah, but thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely disrespectful to Black women. But again, they had Kim Kardashian on there. I think it's disrespectful to men, and I think it's disrespectful to women. Because why can't they just give them the Woman of the Year or somewhere? I mean, and the same thing, like, I can't remember what magazine it was that said Caitlyn Jenner was Woman of the Year or something. It's like, I mean, me personally, I don't put any stock in any of that, because it's the society of they said Cynthia Erivo is a man of the year. Well, they said that. That's not something we have to say. Obviously, we don't agree that she's the man of the year unless she got something she want to tell us. Something that's really wicked. I don't know.
What did we talk about yesterday? The T people are messing it up for everybody.
I don't know. Maybe she is trans. Maybe I don't be all off into the weeds and people under people's dresses and all of that. MC Fact says Erivo played Tubman as having an interest in another woman, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I heard they jacked that up. They made a Black man the enemy and all kind of stuff. Yeah, I saw Wicked. This full transparency, I saw Wicked. I thought it was really good. See, she's good in that kind of stuff. Really good movie. It's about the Wizard of Oz essentially. So I mean, and she was green. I don't know. What? The guy from Texas says this Cynthia Erivo situation somehow reminds me of when Trump appointed Dr. Ben Carson, a neurosurgeon, as Secretary of Housing and HUD Development. Yeah, it's like, man, what are you doing? Well, my mom was on food stamps. Oh, okay, that qualifies you to be the HUD Secretary. Got you. Tracy says she ain't one of us. She's over the pond. Yeah, she is. Double A, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says
and they get here and they start talking about us greasy. They start taking these jobs that Blacks should be cast in. And I'm, actor's an actor, I get it. But when these studios outright just go over great Black American actors, I think that's a crime in itself, because it's hard enough to find, work in itself. I mean, Denzel won't leave so I can get up in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but as I say too, I'm not gonna cry about what these white folks is doing in they movie studios. Let's get a black studio, and make our own movies and hire our own Black American actors. But we can't tell them white people what to do in their studios. What power do we have to tell MGM or Warner Brothers or any of them what to do? We don't have any power. And I suggest that y'all watch. It's a great series called the Titan series, The Rise of Hollywood. It's such a great series. And there's one, the Rise of Wall Street. Great series, and you'll get a little understanding. You ain't telling people what to do. If they want to hire a cat to play that of Sidney Poitier, what are you gonna do about it? And you say, well, ain't nothing you can do about it. Get your own black studios. We got all the money here. We spend look at all the acts and things people do on the internet, acting and pretending and stuff. We can't rent out a little garage and make a movie studio. You know what I mean? That Donovan, one of my favorite movies is Bowfinger. It's one of my favorite movies. Bowfinger with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy. They hijacked a whole bunch of scenery. Kit, the Eddie Murphy, the crazy one, he didn't even know he was in the damn movie, right? So I'm just saying, we gotta improvise sometimes. I don't know. Shoot. We always acting the fool, so we can do it. But yeah, we better get out of here because I see that we've been over a minute. Donovan, you got anything to say in parting? And tell these people why you wait. Tell them why you be missing in action so they don't be thinking I did something to you.
She be kicking me off the show because she doesn't like my machismo. I'm joking, but no, I have some things I got going on in myself because again, Demetria has her show. I have my podcast. I talk about something a little bit different. If you guys are interested, come on over and check me out. Exchanging of ideas. But I do want to say, my damn Dallas Cowboys, I think it's a wrap for the season. So I'm going to say that right now. It's obvious the Philadelphia Eagles are being paid and the refs are being paid and all this other stuff. But anyway, but in all seriousness, you guys watch what is going on in Chicago. It is very informative. If you are the next city up, which I think is Houston, these people are legally being gentrified and losing their properties. And again, Jessica Jackson, she was on the show with us a while back, and she was telling it like it is. It makes no sense what is going on. And I know we want to, that's not going to happen here. We're all black down here. It's Jacksonville, Florida. We're mostly black. Chicago was mostly black. South Side, whatever the deal is. It's all being gentrified right now. There was a lady that was on YouTube, and she was saying, she's from the South Side of Chicago. She was saying that the construction that is going on in these aldermen's districts, not one person that she saw on the construction site was even black. So I've seen it happen here in California. I watched it happen in New York, and now I'm seeing the exact same blueprint happening in Chicago and Dallas, Houston. It's already happened in Atlanta. White people are just separating themselves completely. You guys, we have to get the right people in order. We have this mentality that, that was them. That's California. The hell with California. It's too expensive over there. It's just a matter of time. We have to wake up now.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Tracy says, what do y'all think about the cast of Different Worlds? So the reboot. Yeah, I've seen some criticism. There are a lot of looks like Black Americans who will be casted. I don't know if it's a lot, but there are some that's going to be casted. And somebody on there, I can't remember who they guess they said they are Black American, but they got like I don't know, maybe an African name. But yeah, there's some. Debbie Allen, she's the one that's producing it. Debbie Allen, a Houston native and all of that. I think that's probably where the conversation should be. HBCUs essentially is a Black American experience. Now, there are other people who go to HBCUs. The original show, I guess all of the actors and actresses were, Black American. I know the first season they had Marissa Tomei and then she left, and then Lisa Bonet left. But maybe Debbie Allen will hear that criticism, but again, what power do we have? I don't know. I know Bill Cosby That was his show. You know, it was his spinoff. So obviously he doesn't have anything to do with it anymore. So I'm not sure who's producing this show or whatever. Debbie Allen has always been a staple on Different World. But them using other people in there, yeah, I would say that's very discouraging because, you know, as I said, Debbie Allen being a Black American and you're choosing not to keep that a wholesome experience, even on television, I think it's a mistake. But maybe she'll hear that criticism, but then maybe they won't. But then the problem is, Black Americans, we are large. We watch TV more than anybody, right? So with that, if you want the show to be watched and you want it to be successful, then yeah, you should, you know, cater to the audience that will watch it. Will white people watch it? Yeah, there's some that watch it, but they're not gonna watch it like us. We've seen when Black Americans have been dissatisfied with what they're turning out, and we say, no, we ain't gonna watch it. We've seen it flop. So hopefully she'll hear that criticism. I think it's an honest criticism since, like I said, the show started off as a Black American experience. But, you know, maybe she'll hear that criticism. If she don't, well, you know, we have the choice not to watch it, and it'd be a shame. Because I'm sure anything Debbie Allen does, she seems to do a great job. I like Debbie Allen. I think she's one of the dopest people on the planet. But then again, too, you got to remember, whoever's putting the money up for that, maybe that ain't her decision as to who is, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I hear what you're saying. African Native, thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Donovan, Donovan's information is in the description box. So you can go, you should be able to click on that or enter, you know, Donovan's name in YouTube. And you can see Donovan's on long more than I am. Okay. Donovan got something to say. He gonna be on there saying it. So Donovan Sadiq, it's in the description box where you can find them. So that guy from Texas says, when they rebooted the Proud Family, I had a rainbow agenda. Yeah, a lot of that stuff, that good times crap they had on there is like, are you high? You know. So yeah, we just decide not to watch it, and they'll start to, you know, do programming that is genuine for us. So anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and join me at 11 a.m. on the African Diaspora News Channel to continue on with having a great conversation, and at 5 p.m. Central Time back here. So in the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your day. Peace.